What's up, guys? It is your favorite entrepreneur here, Sarah Nicole, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Make sure you are hitting that subscribe button if you have not yet. If you are into entrepreneurship, working for yourself, building a big social media brand, and monetizing it. That is what my content is all about. So make sure you hit that subscribe, that like, so you can keep up with all the content that is coming out soon. Now today I'm going to talk about a question or a topic that I get asked about quite frequently. I know I did a video recently about business credit, and I had some people asking about, well, what are the best banks for my business as either a sole proprietor or maybe you have an LLC or new business? What are some of the best banks? And so I want to kind of dive into what is a good bank, and the type of banks that you should be looking for so you can utilize these things within your business. So first off, before I dive into the content, I do want to tell you guys about my 3-day boot camp that I'm having. It's a virtual boot camp. The link is down below in the description box. It is going to teach you how to build up a social media brand, how to build a business, an online business at the same time, the things that I've used in my own business to build my brand, build my business, build business credit, automate my business, gain followers, gain traction, attention, all that good stuff. So check that out down below. All right, guys, so let's talk about banks. Right? Banks. So you guys are obviously familiar with banks, financial institutions, right? You probably have a bank right now, whether it's personal or maybe you already have a business bank account. But one thing I do want to talk about, if you have not yet gotten your business bank account, you definitely want to do so soon. Just know that you will need an EIN. Even if you're a sole proprietor, you can still get a business bank account. Just get an EIN and get the business bank account for your sole proprietorship. But if you have an LLC, corporation, anyone, a S Corp, even a nonprofit, you want to make sure that you are getting your business account because you are a business. Now, many people bank with these big major banks, right? So you have your Chase, your Wells Fargo, your Bank of America, right? The big banks, the major banks that we all know about. Now, when it comes to banking, when you put your money, you deposit your money into a bank, the bank obviously does not leave that money sitting there, right? They take a big portion of that money and they use that for loans, lines of credit, things like that, so that they can make money and interest off of your money. Now, I say that or mention that because the banks are going to be benefiting from you regardless, okay? No matter what bank you use, they will be benefiting from you. So I think that it should be a mutually beneficial relationship. So that's why I always tell people if you are looking to get a new business bank account, I would stay away from the big major banks. Stay away from Bank of America, Wells Fargo, Chase. They are going to take your money, make money with your money, and not really give you a lot of perks and benefits in exchange for that. So I always recommend to stay away from them. If you have them and you've had a good experience, I'm not saying to go cancel your account immediately, but just know that these banks are not really giving you a lot of the best benefits that you can be having for your business bank account. They're not really giving you the best bang for your buck, I should say. And also another thing I want to mention is that it is okay to have multiple relationships with different banks, okay? So you don't want to just have one relationship with one bank. You want to try to have a couple, because you never know when you'll need a different bank for funding, lending, maybe you want to get a car loan, things like that. You want to have different options. So it's always good to have relationships with different banks. Now, it is also a major key to keep a positive relationship with these banks that you are banking with these institutions that you're banking with, okay? You want to keep a positive banking history for as long or as much as possible. I know life happens, things happen, but you want to keep a positive relationship for as long as possible because many of these banks have interbanking systems and their own interbanking, kind of like a credit score, but other banks that are connected to them, they can see this information, okay? So for example, there's something called the SBFE, the Small Banking Financial Exchange, and I talk about this in my business credit class. But it is an organization that many institutions, financial institutions are a part of, and it's a database where they can see your information from one bank to another. So say you go to Chase and get apply for a credit card with Chase, they can see your banking information or your banking history with Bank of America. That's just, one example. So it's good to keep a positive relationship with the banks that you are banking with. Now, another thing that you want to keep in mind is that you also want to make sure that you are not having negative days in your business bank account, okay? This is going to play a role when it comes to you wanting to get larger loans or lines of credit. This will affect you. So you want to have as least possible negative days throughout the month, okay? Because like I said, this will affect you when it comes to getting lending for your business. So you want to be careful about that. Now, you're probably watching this and wondering, okay, well, I know who maybe not to jump up and get a bank account with, right? But who should you bank with? So there are tons of banks out there, and there's not one bank that is better than the other necessarily. Everyone's needs are different. Everyone's business is different. And so I'm not necessarily going to give a list of the banks that you need to go to, because like I said, everyone's needs are different. What I do recommend you to do is go to a credit union or a smaller local bank. These types of banks, credit unions or smaller local banks, these type of banks are going to give you better interest rates. They're going to give you better interest on your savings accounts, on your CDs, things like that. They're also going to give you better rates when it comes to getting loans, lines of credit, and they may actually be easier to get approved. And you can also access larger loans, larger lines of credit, larger credit card amounts or limits with these smaller banks or these credit unions. Navy Federal is a great one that I see people talk about all the time. I have Navy Federal as well. It's a great bank, but going to a smaller local bank is not a bad thing. And like I said, don't be afraid to get multiple accounts for your business at different banks, because you never know when you'll need to utilize that positive relationship that you've built with an institution. So smaller banks are good. There are some banks I hear people talk about, like Aslo. It's like an online bank. I think Blue Vine might have an account. Capital One is pretty decent. But just look up when you're looking for a bank. Like I said, I recommend you looking at like a local bank or credit union and look at the perks that they have. Okay, look at the features. What you need for your business might be different than what I need for my business, right? Maybe you're a cash heavy business where you collect a lot of cash in person. Some banks charge you fees for that. Some banks don't. So you want to make sure that you are looking at the features of the account and of the bank and what can that bank do for you, okay? Because no matter what bank you put your money in, they're going to be using your money to make them money. So you want it to be mutually beneficial. What can that bank do for you? So you want to make sure that it is mutually beneficial by looking at the features of the accounts that you are signing up for. So those are just a few things that you want to consider when you are thinking about getting that business bank account for your either new business or an existing business. Also, another thing that I want to bring up before I end the video. So I've gotten questions about shelf corporations and things like that, but just know, or even if you've had your own business for a very long time, try to keep that bank account for as long as possible, because if the date of the start of your business doesn't, match or line up somewhat closely to the bank account, sometimes that can affect you when getting approved for different loans and lines of credit. Okay, sometimes they will go based off of the age of the account instead of the age of the actual business documents. So you want to keep that in mind. So you definitely want to get a business account, early on in your business, and do your best to keep those same accounts and with positive relationships, positive activity, but keep those same accounts for as long as possible, so that the ages of your accounts will match up with the actual business. So that's all I have for you guys in this video. Make sure you hit that subscribe, that like, drop some questions and comments down below in the comment section. And thank you guys for tuning in. I'm gonna catch you guys on the next one.